No, well, I believe me, at times I felt like I hope I didn't, make the wrong decision. But I knew I had to live with it. And when Brad called yesterday, it was kind of like, this is it. It's now or never. And we jokingly, as we were talking, I said, "Can I play Friday?" And this is really, it was early in the conversation. He kind of, "You want to play?" I said, "Oh, why not?" He said, "Well, let me talk to our owners." And I don't know if he was talking to them about me playing Friday, but try to get the ball rolling. And another thing I failed to mention, when I told Brad no, which was a very tough thing to do, I talked to he and Leslie Frazier that day. Leslie had come down earlier in the year and had a good conversation with him, thought the world of him. Hung up with him, the news broke, and my 10-year-old daughter, who was pretty neutral in this whole deal, because I would ask her, "What do you want Daddy to do? Whatever you want to do, Daddy." And I said, "Well, that's a good answer, but what do you want me to do?" Well, she wouldn't say until after the news broke, and she started crying. We sat on our back porch, and anybody who has children, I could be chased by 5 defensive linemen. It doesn't scare me, but when my daughter cries, it softens me up. And she said, "Daddy, I wanted you to go back and win one more Super Bowl." And I said, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that before?" She said, "Well, I didn't want to make that decision for you. It's amazing what you learn from your children." But she said, "Well, can you go back?" I said, "It's too late." So I found myself this morning tearing up as I brought her to school. And she said, "Daddy, it's going to be fine. You go up there and do what you got to do, and we'll be up there soon enough." So I think I made the right decision. I really do. Time will tell. All I can say is I'm going to do the best I can. I told Brad that, and told Mark and Ziggy today on the plane ride up that I can only give you my best. And we'll see what happens.
What's the success for you, Brad? For those who feel that they're tired of the came back, play for the Jets, retired, and coming back again. And so certainly there are people that have criticized you for that. What's your response to those people who, were tired of the waiver?
Don't watch. Like my old roommate and center for a long time, Frank Winters in Green Bay said, who's from Hoboken, New Jersey. He has a funny way of putting things. He said, "Dude, it's America." It happens all the time. And, it is what it is.
Do you think your legacy will be defined by this year? Do you worry about that?
No.
This will define your
First of
legacy?
all, when people start talking about my legacy, it's mine. It's what I think of it. And I know the way I played the game. I know the way I've handled myself as a teammate, as a leader, within the public. I feel like, I've made mistakes along the way. We all have. But I think if I had it to do over again, I'd do it the same way. I really do. I don't think anyone played the game or has played the game with as much passion and has loved it and loved his teammates as much as me. I haven't been the best player, but I would like to think that every player I played with would love to have me in the foxhole. And I have no idea what's going to happen this year, as I didn't know last year. But as I look back, I gave it everything I could give. And that's what I'll do this year.
You obviously cherish the relationship you have in Green Bay. You're going to play them twice this year, though. How concerned are you about Packer fans maybe feeling a sense of betrayal that your career is going to end here?
Well, I think if you're true Packer fans, you understand. Will it be different? Sure it will. Is it odd? The way that it's unfolded? Absolutely. But if you're a true fan, you say, you know what? he chose to continue playing. They chose to go in a different direction. It's part of the business. He has to play somewhere if he wants to play. And once again, this is a perfect fit.
Whether you'll play Friday?
He's still consulting with owners. So he'd get back with me Friday.
Comfortable enough to play Friday after you
I think I would. Obviously, I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit. I don't think it's smart to go out and play a half or whatever, but just to go out and run a few plays, whatever those may be, just to kind of get your feet wet a little bit. As much as I've played in my career, there's a difference from year to year. And for me today in practice, the key for me was just the little things, making sure you get the snap, calling the play correctly. And coming here made a lot of sense because the system is what I'm very used to. And so calling the plays today was easy. Now, guys, Adrian's steps are a little bit different than what maybe I'm used to, but the plays are the same. Maybe the guys running the routes a little bit different. So for me, what I need to get accomplished in this is understanding my guys, how they run their routes, footwork, things like that. The line, getting used to my cadence. So, and you get that obviously in practice, but there's no substitute for game type situations.
Dr. Andrews mentioned to you that the calcified has been a while. Did he tell you it goes back several years?
He wasn't for sure. I'm not a doctor, but I don't know how you would know that for sure. But what I gathered from him was that the calcification said that it had been there for quite a while. And my question to him was, because the bicep pain pretty much from the time the surgery was over was gone. And I said, could the bicep pain have overshadowed maybe subtle rotator cuff tear pain? He said, maybe. But he said, I think you would have known prior to that if it was really bothering you. So, obviously he's the number one guy. I'm going to take his word for it.
What kind of reception do you get from your teammates in here, and do you have anything to say to Kamara and Jack and Dave Rosenfeld as you get started with?
Well, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind, but it was nothing. We pretty much went right out to practice, and a lot of faces I recognized, a lot of faces I didn't recognize. And as Brad and I talked about before we came in, even though I've played a long time and have been around and played against a lot of guys and played under a lot of coaches and against a lot of coaches, you still have to earn the respect from this team. And what you've done in the past is great, but it means nothing here. And so I like to play a certain way, carry myself a certain way, but I feel like you don't do that the first day. Second day, I don't know when that happens. I think you pick your spots and you earn the respect of these guys, and that's what I intend to do. And I spoke with Tavares and Sage and JD a little bit today. Not much. Once again, we were working, but I'm open anytime anybody wants to ask me a question or talk to me, or jokingly, Chili asked me after practice, he said, traditionally here we have the new guys say their name and where they're from and something unique about yourself. I said, I'm Brett from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I'm the only guy on this team born in the 60s. So that kind of broke the ice a little bit. But the guys have been great. The reception I got, I haven't been followed by a helicopter in quite a while.
Brett, you talked about not having to do as much with the pieces that are in place. Do you feel comfortable taking that step backwards and maybe not being the focal point of this offense?
You know what? I think as a quarterback, you kind of go as the team goes and what you're asked to do. And you never know. There'll be, I've heard that this whole offseason, that you don't have to do as much. We have a great running game. We all know that. But there always will come a time where you have to make plays and have to do certain things that maybe you wouldn't have to do on a consistent basis.